This is your tutorial for HTML Basics 4 through 6. Once again, after you've read everything on the left side here, you're going to go down to your instructions. Step 1 says add an opening head tag and a closing head tag. So that's going to go, your opening head tag is going to go underneath your HTML tag. So on line 3, we're going to go ahead and type in our opening head tag, and then it instructs us to go ahead and close that head tag. So there's step 1. Step 2 says between the head tags, you're going to add in an opening title tag and a closing title tag. So whenever it says between, I'm going to go right after the first one. I'm going to hit enter. So now you can clearly see that I am between the two head tags. I need to add in an opening title tag and then a closing title tag. Remember, your closing tags always have this / there. Okay, so that was step 2. Step 3 says between those title tags that we just put in, we are going to write the title of our page. So I am going to go right after the opening title, but before the closing title, and I'm just going to write Mrs. Mason's web page. Now, this section is very important. This part here, that is called the head of the HTML document. Typically, you will not write anything in there other than if you are to change the title, which we just did to Mrs. Mason's webpage. Whatever you write there, it will not appear over here. So don't think that you're doing something wrong if it doesn't appear here. Later on in the course, you'll see what that does do, but right now I'm not going to go into that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit save and submit, and go ahead and start the next lesson. Okay, now we are working on the body and the paragraphs. So after you've read the first part on the left side here, step 1 says underneath the closing head tag, put an opening body tag and a closing body tag. And here's your example that they're telling you to look at right here. So here's our head, so we're going to go underneath that. If you want, you can do an extra space, but it doesn't really matter. We're going to go ahead and put in your first opening body tag, and then I always put an extra space, and then I'm going to put in my closing body tag. Now, technically, this usually comes right after the body tag, but these extra spaces don't matter, but you can get rid of them if you want. Now, everything that you do needs to go between these body tags. If you want it to show up here on this side of the page, everything is going to go between the body tags. So, step 2 says, inside the body, create 2 paragraphs. Each paragraph starts with an opening P tag and ends with a closing P tag. And then it gives you the example of how to do that. So I'm going to start my first paragraph. I'm going to open it with a P tag. And when they say paragraph, they don't literally mean a whole paragraph. It could just consist of one word. So I am going to go ahead and, for my first paragraph, that's what I'm going to write. And I'm going to go ahead and close it. Don't forget, you always have to close your tags. So you can see how it appeared over here. If this were a real website or web page, this is what it would look like. And then that was my first paragraph, but it told me to do 2 paragraphs. See there? So I'm going to go ahead and do a second one. So I got to open up another paragraph, and this time I'm just going to say yay, and then I have to close it again. Okay, so now we are finished with step 2. I'm going to go ahead and save and submit. Okay, so this one we've earned a badge on, but again, I don't need this badge, so I'm going to just go ahead and hit close, and then I'm going to go on to step 6. Alright, after reading this, part 1 says in the body section, create a heading. To do this, create an H1 tag. Now, do not get, when they tell you to create a heading, do not get that confused with the head that is up here. That has nothing to do with that head. A heading is the different sizes of the headings that can be on your web page. So it says in the body section, so make sure you are in the body section. And it says to create an H1 tag. So I'm going to go ahead, H1, I'm going to close it. Step 2 says add content. So I'm going to go ahead, add some content. Now step 3 says close the element with the closing tag, which hopefully by now you know what closing tags look like. Since we started with an H1 tag, we have to close it as an H1 tag. So caret / H1, close it. So now you can see that H1, that's the largest heading you can have. That makes that this size over here on your web page. Okay, so step 4 says underneath the headings tag, create 2 paragraphs using p tags with whatever content you like. So I'm going to go underneath that, start with my opening p tag. Make sure you don't capitalize that p because it won't work. Okay, so I'm just entering in whatever content I want right now. That's my first paragraph, and it asks me to create 2. So I'm going to go ahead and do my second p tag, and then I'm going to close it. Again, if you get stuck, always feel free to hit that stuck, get a hint, and then we'll give you some advice there on how to fix your code. Okay, so everything's right. I'm going to go ahead and hit save and submit. And then that's it for this tutorial. We'll move on to 7 in the next tutorial.